Is Jonnie joining us? Oh, hi. Hi, Walt.
We're live. We think he is. He's just running late.
Cool, Mundo.
Yeah.
We got Lena Rodriguez from Tarot Down Under with us.
Mm-hmm.
We got
Hi,
Barry the
guys.
Blood Clot with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barry the blood clot needs to do
Barry
his
the
job.
blood clot. He's working for the people.
I mean, but to what you were saying, Lena, I saw it just before we came on that, yeah, he's talking about sending the Navy over there to block the Strait of Hormuz, which is a war crime. That's a crime.
It's a war crime and possibly the stupidest idea of the last 2 centuries.
I mean, nobody's ever accused that man of being intelligent,
No.
So,
True.
I tell you, when Barry does his job, we'll pull down all the Trump monuments, including his new arch he's wanting to build, and we'll put up monuments to Barry.
Yeah.
Hey, homage.
So I texted Jennie. Was it yesterday?
Yesterday or Friday.
I wanted to get an annual pass for all of the national parks because it's $80. So if you do the math, if you're planning to go a couple of times a month, it's worth the price to pay $80 a year versus $20, $30 every time you go.
Sure.
So I went on the website. Look at this shit.
Oh, no, don't.
The man who has defunded our forestry services, who says we should rake our leaves in the forest. Like, how are you supposed to do that? You defunded us.
He's defunded not just, it's every department, the Department of the Interior, everything. He's defunded them. And then he's putting his name and his face on everything like these are Pokemon collector cards or some shit. Like it's just, it's so goddamn sad. He couldn't point out a state park or a national monument on a map if you pointed it out to him.
No.
It was funny. Somebody in France said, the new coin he's coming out with for our 250th anniversary here, July 4th, he put himself on the coin, which no living president has ever been put on a coin in the U.S. And the stance he's doing, he's like this on a table leaning forward, and they were laughing. They said, he looks like he's getting a colonoscopy.
And that picture on the state, on the national park.
Yeah.
That looks like
he probably thinks his golf course is a national park.
Next to Washington.
Just the hide.
Nuts. And everybody's turning against him, Alex Jones and what's her name on Megyn Kelly, and they're all turning against him. They're all like 25th Amendment his ass, please.
Yeah. It's getting close now to either 25th or collapse in the job,
or impeachment.
I think it's going to be collapse in the job because everybody's talking about 25th Amendment, 25th. There is no way in hell anybody that he has surrounded himself with is going to do that. Because it's not up to Congress and it's not up to the Senate. It's up to his cabinet. And there is no way in hell.
No way. And if it was a grown-up cabinet, they could have, secret talks and get it organized, but they couldn't trust each other.
No.
Right?
No.
But even if Vance did it, I think the Congress 60% do have to vote to okay it if they 25th Amendment.
And they're probably statistically close to that number, but they wouldn't. They wouldn't have the guts to do it.
I mean, hell, Lena, they didn't have the guts to convict him in the Senate after he incited an insurrection.
Yeah.
So at this point, Barry's my only hope. Barry is my only hope.
But also, after all this nightmare, Vance should be charged. They might have to invent a brand new charge for not invoking the 25th. As the world totters into war, so Vance, by not invoking it, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's actually responsible for putting the world through this misery.
Well, there's a lot of fingers to be pointing, starting with Mitch McConnell.
Oh, plenty of blame to go around.
Oh, yeah. Starting with Mitch McConnell, because he could have avoided all this shit had he had the balls to convict him in the Senate. Yeah. And then he kicked the can down the road, and Merrick Garland sat around twiddling his thumbs, and didn't do anything. And here we are again, And
also, while we're doing the blame game, Merrick Garland sucked 4 years out of our lives.
Yeah.
And failed to deliver.
Absolutely. And then that new book from Maggie Haberman or whatever, she reported that he intentionally slow walked the whole thing. And it's like he should have had charges the day that Merrick Garland was sworn in. There should have been charges, not 2.5 years later.
Yeah.
But
Yep. And left Jack Smith out to dry.
There's plenty of blame to go around, so lock them all up.
It's funny because people, are saying it's sad when we're cheering the Lego commercials that Iran is putting out, bashing Trump. It's really sad when we're like, yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It's a weird time to be living, Lena. That's for sure.
Isn't it?
It's like
I know people are backing the boycotts, and we're all laughing at the Iranians, and it's bizarre.
The boycotts so far, I think there's been 5 or 6 warehouses that have been burnt down.
Really?
Here in the yeah, it started with that guy that burnt down that one warehouse in California here, saying that all you had to do was pay us a living wage. Since then, I think another 4 or 5 have gone up in flames. Somebody threw a Malakoff cocktail at the house of the guy that is running OpenAI.
Sam Altman.
Altman. And now he's coming out saying, oh, we need to do a universal wage. We need to do It's like, there's more of us than there are of you, and there's only so much you can squeeze out of people. Like all these data centers, there was a state representative. I forget what state it was in. I just saw it this morning. That voted to have, despite the constituents saying we don't want these AI warehouses in our backyard. They voted for it anyways because it's causing people's utilities to skyrocket.
Yeah, they're saying in Virginia their electric bills are higher than their mortgages and their rent.
Yes.
Thank you, SW and Mara.
And so somebody went to that guy's house and shot up his whole front door. Thankfully, I'm not sitting here advocating.
No, we're not saying loss of life. No.
No, I'm not saying that at all. But it's like, are these people so removed from reality that they cannot recognize how badly Americans are struggling just for basic necessities?
Yeah,
and then they just pile on more.
Don't get it.
No, they don't, Lena.
They really don't.
You try to tell people, well, it's okay. The big thing on the right now is short-term pain for long-term gain.
Yeah, we'll see how long that goes.
Tell me how. What are you going to pay your mortgage, or are you going to pay your utilities because they're now $800 just for your electric, not counting the water? Are you going to pay $5-6 a gallon to drive 30-40 minutes to work and pay over $100 to fill up your car 2-3 times a week because of this war? And then you go to the store and you can't purchase food because the prices skyrocketed. And then when there's a shortage, because guess what? The farmers aren't getting their fertilizer. How much do you want people to sacrifice when wages have been stagnant for decades? You know?
this is the problem, I think, with Dems messaging is this should be the easiest gig in the world at the moment to point out this stuff to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are being slapped in the forehead with unpayable bills, losing their Medicare, losing their jobs. And the spit back should be exactly this.
Yeah.
You know, using different language. Say they are screwing you into the ground. Do you not see it now? And they're still too polite.
And that's the thing, Lena. The establishment Democrats, they did that whole autopsy, and Cal Calency reported on it on Secular Talk.
Oh, that was distressing.
And the consent on the liberal side is we want you to be more liberal. Go back to let's go back to our FDR roots.
Completely misread it. I don't know who they talked to
Mm-hmm.
come to these conclusions.
And it's the consultants. So the people are saying, go back to your FDR roots. We want more liberal policies for working class and poor Americans. After hearing that, their solution is, you know what? We need to move further to the right.
I know. I can't believe it. And I'm not surprised by it for a second, because they hug that middle lane. And the Australian parties do exactly the same thing. You know, Labor, our Dems, and the Conservatives. And Labor, every election, will come up with some new immigration horror of their own to try and we can be as tough as they are on immigration. You know, it's so primitive.
Yeah.
And Dems have failed. Labor in the UK, Labor in Australia have failed to do the maths for people. I'm sorry, we're not having 6 kids anymore, right?
No.
We're not. So if we want to retire with our 401k, we need a steady stream of immigration.
Yep.
Otherwise, we're going to end up with an economy like, in our case, Tasmania, and in your case, Arkansas, if you don't have immigration.
Yeah.
Right.
On a good note, JD Vance seemed to really help Viktor Orban lose his election.
Isn't it heaven?
I was hoping he'd do to him what he did to Pope Francis.
Yeah. But let me share here what I just wrote a note down before I came on. So while we're talking about so for the viewers, Viktor Orban in Hungary, right wing, has been there 16 years.
16 years, yep.
16 years. And during that time, rigging elections, see if this sounds familiar, rigging electoral maps, packing the courts, and buying 80% of Hungary's media and turning them into propaganda outfits. Right?
Oh, that sounds a lot like that orange clown with the dead possum on his head. That
sounds familiar, doesn't it?
That
now,
little Putin guy up above them.
Why did Hungary turn this time? And the explanation is, and I think we all need to take a bow really secondhand, independent podcasters and journalists turned the tide. People were sick of the billionaire media.
Yeah. And
so
it needs
it's
to
really
happen
important.
Here. It needs to happen here too, because corporate media, they don't tell you anything. How many people in the chat can raise their hand confidently and tell me exactly all the bills that are making their way through the Congress right now? You can't. Because you turn on corporate media, all you hear is Trump this, Trump that, Trump. It's all speculation. Show me the shit that's happening behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Show me who's getting the bills. Show me whose hands are getting rubbed with a bunch of money from lobbyists and private donors and all this other stuff to make money while the rest of us suffer. They don't tell us that on corporate media. All they tell you is, oh, Melania Trump did a speech today. Why did she do that? Oh, Donald Trump and Stephen. that's going to be a horror show regardless. And it's really sad that you have to go and seek independent journalism because corporate media is just speculation. It's a reality TV show full of nightmares all day. And the public is not educated on the intricacies of bills that are passing because they don't tell us that. They don't. You know? So anyways.
Yeah. Someone in the comments was just saying about me that I'm down on all Dems and no one's left enough for me, and if they dumped all the Dems I didn't like, etc. Now, I try and make that distinction often. Not all Dems. I think the Dems have a sensational second tier of talent. I really do. Absolutely amazing new energy, up for the fight. My whole buzz is, if you're not up for the fight, move over. That's all I'm saying. Use the talent.
And if you're taking money from APAC and stuff like that. I love Bernie Sanders. I love Elizabeth Warren. They're older, you know, Bernie's in his 80s. Very left.
And the young ones
very
are so
far to the left
too, you know, the AOCs and Jasmine Crockett and so many of them. And then dear old Jamie Raskin and Sheldon Whitehouse. That's my frustration.
Yeah, it's like let's quit trying to tamper them down. Let's be progressive. Yes. We are a progressive country. Lena, have you got any announcements for tonight before we get into reading?
No, I'm a clean slate from here.
If you would like a reading with me, you can go to jenlintarot.com to schedule a reading or to buy a gift card for a reading. I hope tomorrow night to go live for my 65th birthday.
Awesome, gal.
But we are, I have repair guys here tomorrow working on the rebuild after the pipe broke and all that mess. Hopefully they're out in time that I can go live around 7 o'clock. But we're also getting this wave of storms. So if I don't go live, it's because I lost power or something, or I'm in the basement hiding from tornadoes.
Yeah. But look, with the big birthdays, just milk it for a week.
You know?
65. It's like, just seems like yesterday I did my 60th birthday bash on YouTube, but I'm not big on celebrating birthdays. That's why I tend to go live on my birthday.
Mom's birthday was just last week on Wednesday, so I called her and said happy birthday. So if you're in the chat, Mom, happy birthday again.
All you Aries,
Mom.
All you Aries, hunker down because all those planets are moving into Aries now.
Yeah, and it's boom.
April 15th through the 17th is really strong, and then April 19th on the new moon in Aries is really strong, and they're impacting Trump's chart. So,
yeah.
And I hope he dies. I'm just saying. Go get him, Barry. Hi, Jonnie. How are you?
Hi,
Don't look so excited. He's over it. He's like,
are you having computer problems?
No, I'm having acid reflux problems.
Oh no.
No. I just fed Braxy. She got all sorts of stuff tonight. She got a whole chicken breast and rice. And
Jonnie, are you having real reflux problems or symbolically, politically?
Real.
Acid reflux is no joke. I started struggling with it when I turned 50 and didn't discover till I was 57. I got in a car accident and went to a chiropractor for the first time in my life because I couldn't flow the energy back there to work up my own neck and back from the whiplash and everything. And I was getting off the table one time. I mentioned to him, I said, I wish you could help me with this acid reflux. He adjusted a spot mid-back on me. And he goes, it'll get rid of it for a whole year. Now, I had horrible acid reflux. I was waking up every night, running to the bathroom, hurling acid. Really, really bad. Thank you, Plucky Heroin. He said, you'll have to come in once a year and get that one spot adjusted. And he was right. It immediately got rid of it. So I'm good for like a whole year.
Yes,
Hi, Braxy. Braxy's wishing me a happy birthday.
Yeah, she's throwing a tantrum. It rained here today, Johnny. Not like bird spit, but like actual rain.
We've got a polar vortex. I mean, what the fuck's a polar vortex? But I will tell you it's cold.
Well, here's the thing. Johnny would know, but I think NASA just found that we're actually spinning faster and traveling the sun faster or something like that. So
I'll tell you another thing I just found this week about that. Do you all remember when China made the Three Gorges Dam? It took them 20 years or something. It was a big thing, water management in China. And it's so huge. It holds so much water. It's tipped the earth like a degree or something because of the weight of water. 3 huge rivers being held up. Wow.
Wow.
Bizarre.
Well, Mark in the chat says clots and stairs instead of thoughts and prayers. Clots and stairs.
That's good.
What are you crying about, Beebs? What are you
Because
crying
I'm not
about?
getting attention.
You got all sorts of yummy dinner.
If she didn't have that bandana on, I wouldn't be able to see where her head is.
Yeah, that's true.
Miss
Oh my
Braxy.
Beebs.
Now, well, we've had a house full of grand dogs this weekend. Oh my God. When they're all here, it's 4 dogs.
Beebies.
Oh, there she is. Got the light on her.
Beebs.
Oh, handsome. Look at that.
You're gonna
Gorgeous
start throwing a
Braxy.
fit now.
Oh
Are
my
you done having a fit?
Maybe I want to read tarot. Where are my tarot cards?
There she goes. You can help me. You can help me. Okay. All right.
What are you doing, Beth?
She doesn't know what's
Oh my
going on with
God.
her life. Anyways, so I guess we should start since we've been yapping for 20 something minutes. Can we check in with Barry the blood clot? Where's Barry?
Where's Barry?
Where's Barry?
Where's Waldo? Where's Barry? I think Barry's an appropriate name. If you remember Trump when he used to do those fake phone calls like into radio stations and stuff, he'd call in as John Barron.
And he'd say, what a great guy Trump was.
Yeah. Bragging on himself. So Barry, named after
We're asking
he
where
himself, I think.
Oh, that's a good angle, Becca. Let's see. Yeah.
she's right there supervising. Where's Barry?
She's very serious.
Okay, you have to pick. This one? Okay.
Okay, Barry the blood
Oh,
clot.
see, there's the dog just for Braxton. Okay, where's Barry?
This may be more about Braxy than the Barry.
Okay, you want this one? And this one? Okay, are you done? So Braxy picked cards. You guys saw her. She picked them. That's what she got. Thanks for helping, Beebs. That was fantastic. You can supervise all you want. All your friends want to say hi.
Thank you, Mr. Tux.
That day he evaporates, I'm going to throw the biggest online party. I will be in the white powder green trees and drink the biggest. I missed it.
Drink the biggest brown liquor.
Brown liquor. Huh.
They're saying also Barry was the name Obama went back by in high school too. Barack Obama went by Barry.
Yeah.
So we know Barry lives in
my
his
brother's
brain.
name.
I'm getting he may be in his lungs. This is my card for lungs. He knows he's got a job to do. This is like a blockage for me. He's there. Trump may have been recently in a hospital or something over him. So when was it? Just a couple of weeks ago, he went missing for a few days.
Yeah.
Like Easter weekend or something. He was.
I love it when he goes missing because it gives me hope that he's dead.
I know. There's that window of hope. Will I go to second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm using the circus cards because he's such a clown. I think with this card, it's more the doctors. This is Dr. Feelgood trying to work out how he's going to manage Barry and other issues, right? Sort of really thinking it through. Trump is in complicated waters. This isn't the only issue, obviously, as we know. So it's like he's juggling machetes with time and everything else, but you can't underestimate his genetics, the German-Scottish connection. He might never die. I just got to warn the audience this might happen.
Oh, God, no.
But, this is not good health. The moon, we're not being told what is happening. And, the last card is the death card.
Can't come fast enough.
Yeah, the circus cards are very appropriate. Last week, Jonnie named the group of guys who are all wearing too big of shoes that Trump gave them the floppy shoe boys.
Yes, love it.
Thank you, Larry. What are you getting, Jonnie?
He's finding friends.
Oh, he's getting bigger.
Finding friends? Don't get my hopes up, Jonnie.
Barry's going to have a band by the end of the day.
The floppy shoe band?
We may have to find some new names.
Braxy wanted to show you this one, too. She brought her own little tarot cards.
Oh.
The Fool. Good girl. These are the cards Braxy picked out.
Yeah, not a well man.
Braxy loves her food, but she's saying that it's in his heart. Barry's in the heart. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to touch this. Eric Swalwell.
Oh, I suppose we have to.
I have thoughts.
Yeah. Well, if it's true, I'm gutted because I thought he could be a player. But is it true? Oh, God.
There's 4 women that have come forward, but then you got Roger Stone over there gloating and saying big news is going to come out about him tomorrow. And then, of course, it broke. But there's a woman who's been reporting on this since last year. So I don't think this is something new.
Right.
And
I'm like you, Lena. I thought he was a good guy. And it's like,
here's the thing, though.
Right.
This is my thinking. And Jonnie touched on this yesterday during his live stream about allegations and all this other stuff. That's a serious thing. Sexual assault, drugging people and raping them, that's a serious thing. And I was talking to Stephanie about it, and I told her, I said, Stephanie, Eric Swalwell is a lawyer. He knows better than anybody. If this is not true, sue them all for defamation because everything has to go to discovery and it has to be proven in a court of law.
Yeah.
If you want to clear up your name, it's that simple. And I'm not a lawyer. He is. You know? So it's I'm reserving judgment.
Wait,
Because I
the
can
women
see an
in the
easy
Epstein
solution.
files.
I can see an easy solution. And then because here's the thing, Republicans, especially with Trump, who is a child rapist, can do this all day, and it's expected. Nobody says anything because it's expected for people of this character. It happens on the Dem side, and everybody's so quick to just take whatever at their word and kick people out of the party, and then you find out it was all just a fucking smear campaign. Again, serious allegations.
Thank you, Cindy and Torp. Here's the thing too. Like,
but if he wants to prove them wrong, file for fucking defamation. Have it all come out in court. I just don't understand.
The women in the Epstein files did sue trying to and did report him to the FBI and everything.
Yep.
It just all got buried, right? With his sweetheart deal and all of that. These women, it's like, then sue him. Sue him.
Yep.
If you've got evidence, because they say they have like medical records and different things, it's like, then sue him.
And people are saying that in the chat. Exactly. They did the same fucking thing to Al Franken. And all the Dems jumped and kicked him out and kicked him out. And then you find out later that it was all a fucking smear campaign.
Yeah. Eugene Carroll sued Trump. So I want to believe victims, but I also want to see them take legal action.
And it's just...
I'm going to ask, is it true? Is
it true is the question?
Yeah. Has he harmed women?
And Nunya in the comments says Eric Swalwell ran for president and he was vetted at that point. So this would have come up, you'd think.
Well, and why is it coming up now? He's been running for Congress over and over. He ran for president. It didn't come up then.
Yeah. Governor.
Now suddenly he's in the lead for the governor race and it's coming up and out. No offense, but like we've been hearing about Trump long before he ran. We knew who he was.
Oh my God.
I just don't think it's rape. I think it's an affair. I think it's sordid. I think it's messy. I think it's damaging to the image. Knight of Cups comes up again. The Queen of Wands that I got yesterday. The Five of Wands would be conflict. There is conflict with what? The Ten of Cups, the happy family in that image, as Lena says, the facade of the happy family, basically. And then there's the Eight of Swords and Page of Swords. I think this is more so something that is just going to be extremely damaging to the reputation, but I don't think it's rape. I think it's an affair, is what I think. But there's something there. He's not just squeaky clean, but I think it's not assault, though, personally.
Yeah, because I think one of the accusers was saying that they went out for drinks and she was so happy that he invited her out to drink, and she woke up in a hotel room and he was assaulting her and she told him to stop and he just kept going. And it's like, so now you're saying that he roofied you and assaulted you see what I'm saying? It's just like,
it's escalating.
Yeah,
it's a big charge, you know.
Yeah, this is not what it looks like. There's a little bit of an illusion factor here. I get someone has worked on this to put this together and get it out in the media. Going after and attacking him, but it's to throw things, like the votes off balance. And there's my Republican cards, and the devil, and paying off somebody. I'm not getting abuse the bully card, anything sexual. I'm not getting the lovers, anything like that. I'm not getting, that he's an alcoholic or anything. I'm not getting that.
Yeah, goodness. Well, mine leads off with the Five of Cups, which, I mean, it's, I think, his loss of trust and reputation that is being experienced now. I get the Magician and my vibe. I hope I'm not being naive here, and just because he's the nice guy, I don't believe the victims. It's not that clear, but I'm with you. If that happened, why wasn't he charged? And, if there's hotel receipts, etc. So there's manipulation going on. They want him out of the race because he's such a strong candidate. Until now, in a way, their work is done. I mean, he's dropped out now, but it worked. It worked. The mercenary, ooh, was anybody paid about this? But I think we are going to find out, but it'll probably be too late for his governor's run, but I think we will find out eventually the dimensions of this, because I think there's story, or more than one story in there.
Well, Lauren Boebert wants to vote on kicking him out of Congress.
Mm.
And it would work to the Keebler-Elf's, benefit, because he keeps losing seats left and right, So I get that this, again, I'm just reading what the cards are saying. It's a lie. There's a lie and a betrayal. If anything, it was probably an affair here with someone that was trusted, or they were friendly together. So it's looking more like an affair. I don't get assault or anything like that. It's a lie, jealousy, viciousness, so, but he probably did have an affair, though I don't think it's what they're making it out to be, that he sexually assaulted all these people, so now that that's out of the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the world is upside down, dude.
I know.
A bunch of other people are screaming for the Republicans to get Trump out of the White House. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't have a leg to stand on. It's not like she's a well-respected person in the halls of Congress, even though she's not there anymore. She never was, because she made a clown out of herself,
I mean, you know what, though? If she can get it to happen, I will take these scissors to cut mine off and mail it to her ass. I really would. She wants a leg to stand on. I got 2 free ones. I really do. Mm-hmm. Get him out of office. Get him off the earth. Whatever it is you got to do. I'll send you a leg.
Yeah. So she's calling for him to get ousted. Megyn Kelly, who said, well, those were 15 and 16-year-olds. They knew what they were doing. It's not like they were 8 defending the Epstein people, raping girls. Yeah. She's now calling for Trump to be ousted. Alex Jones is calling for him to be ousted. All the other podcasters are calling for him to be ousted. Joe Rogan, with the brain of a smashed pea, is calling for him to be ousted.
Who was at the UFC thing with him the other night?
And he got booed.
Bad mouthing him, but then standing there shaking Trump's hand. It's like he's such an ass.
Yeah. But now that's what happens. You stand next door now to the guy who gets booed, not the hero.
Yeah.
So
Joe Rogan sucking out of both sides of his ass.
My question is, it seems, maybe I'm crazy, but it seems coordinated.
The Swalwell.
These people were staunch supporters of Trump. I mean, Megyn Kelly was defending raping 15 and 16-year-old girls, saying that they knew what they were doing.
that they're of age.
No, she didn't say that they were of age. She said that they knew what they were doing. It's not like they were 8 years old. Well, surprise, surprise, bitch. You know, he raped a 9-year-old, you know, so it just seems very coordinated to me. So can we ask, is it coordinated and why?
Okay. Is what coordinated?
The messaging to get him out of office.
Yeah, the 25th Amendment stuff.
Yeah, to get him out of office.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to think they talk to each other.
By all the podcasters, you mean, right?
Yeah, the talking heads.
It's because you know, the people in the government aren't doing anything, so they got to rile them up to get them to move into gear.
Yes and no. I don't think this has teeth. I think this has a lot of bark. There is the 7 of Pentacles and the 5 of Swords. So someone has invested in this, but I don't think they invested long term. I think they invested until they get whatever kind of result that they're trying to heavy-handed act upon. They may want him to just stop the war and restore the Republican image and that kind of garbage. Because I get the 9 of Pentacles. Once something is secure, I get the 8 of Cups. They walk away from this in particular point. So I don't think they're really trying to get him out of office. I think this is kind of dog whistling. Maybe they're trying to scare him, even though he doesn't really frighten that easily. I don't think that they're really trying to get him out of office. I think it's just bluster because of the war.
I agree.
Yeah.
They're dissatisfied. It's like, yeah, they're all Trump supporters when, you know, he got elected and he came into power, victory on that, you know, beating the woman. And now he's the loser in his messaging, and he's the loser in the polls, and he's the loser in everything he does to the economy and everything else. They feel betrayed. So are they partnering together some? Yeah, a little bit. But is it coordinated? Not really. They want him to go. They want him out of the government. There may be some people with money that are kind of working together, because I got all these men here working together, maybe to try to cast judgment on him. So it's almost like we'll change the minds of the MAGA people before you do it. So they're kind of forewarned, is what I'm getting.
So messaging.
We will build up support for doing this for you.
So it's you know, it's the propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which they
and
should have done on their own, you know, in his first term.
Yeah. So with this Ace of Swords, I think there's a clash of egos amongst these guys too, including Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens and all of them, you know, suddenly on the other side, and they're positioning themselves. So they're carving out their space with this sword. And they want to go on the record as saying, oh, yeah, we knew at the end, you know, he had to go, and we said this and we said that, right? So they're trying to do that. How are they feeling and why they got there? No matter how they tried to make it work, they kept falling off the Trump ladder because he's impossible to work with. He is impossible to do anything with. He blows everything up, you know, even when you're trying to help him. And they want to just go back to when they could just manipulate the public and make a lot of money and swing back and forth, right? And now they're stuck with this sword they have to wield to say, oh, we were on the right side, you know, I said that, you know. Oh.
As if we don't have this thing called the internet and we can just, you know, rewind the tape.
Yeah.
10 years.
Thank you, wordsmither. I mean, you've got to be a horrible person to hang around with them. He's a pedophile. He's a rapist. He's a convicted felon. He's a horrible person. Only another horrible person would hang around with him and support him.
Like I've told Jonnie, he is a black hole inside of a black hole inside of a black hole inside of a black hole to infinity of just depravity. There is nothing.
That's the real word.
Yeah,
he is completely depraved. He has not got a moral fiber.
No,
never did have. This is a new.
Never has.
No,
Never has.
and that's the thing. You can tell me the most horrendous, god awful shit about that man, and I would believe it before I stop to say, could that be true? Because that's how depraved he is. You know, like anyways. So what I got here, I get that they're being told by the ruling class, the oligarchs, finances, resources, power, access to society, community here. So they're getting the message from these people. This mofo is hurting our bottom line. And that's the thing I don't understand. How much do you think you can squeeze out of people before there's nothing left for you to squeeze? Like it just happened with Doritos. I think the bag of potato chips went up to $7 and people stopped buying Doritos. It's like there is no nutritional value. What the hell makes you think people are going to pay $7 for a bag of chips when they're already paying $7 here in California to get 1 gallon of gas? One.
You can now buy a martini cheaper than a gallon of gas. Thank you, Moonstars.
So make it make sense. But anyways, I get that. That is coming from the people at the top of society that are saying, we want the money, but this is insane. You know, so
he's killing the party, you know, so that they'll never have power again.
So
not for a long time.
Yeah, hopefully a few generations.
Well,
Yeah.
So
but I tell you what I find a bit heartening is people are realizing they're making the connection between data centers sucking water, sucking power, and their bills going up. Not all of them, but a lot of people are making that connection. And I was worried there was going to be a 5-year delay. It's quite hard to explain the economics of these sort of things. But they just sort of, because it was so crude, suddenly your bill's 4 times what it was before since they moved in next door. And so I think that can be milked and groomed by the party to make people understand we cannot afford billionaires. The same in Australia. We can't actually afford billionaires.
There's a group of millionaires that are sponsoring one of the bills that's been put forward in Congress to tax millionaires and billionaires at the same level we're taxed at.
It's very basic.
And to give a break to those who aren't even meeting a threshold of standard cost of living. So if you're in the poverty line, you pay no taxes. Like, how can you tax somebody who can't even, keep a roof over their head?
They don't even, you know how much lettuce cost? A head of lettuce is like $5 over here.
That's crazy, isn't it?
And there's, what does it have? A couple of vitamins and mostly water. $5, Lena. $5.
Yeah.
$5 here. I wonder, and y'all grow a lot of the vegetables. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think this core argument is what the Dems need to run with and can do, which is simply say, yes, we have this huge national debt. Everyone should play their part.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be that complicated. It doesn't have to be left and right. Just pay the same, as you said, as normal people pay. 15%, 25%.
But as much as us here on the left and in the chat like to point the finger and, look how corrupt Republicans are. When you're pointing that finger, be aware that you have 3 more pointing right back at you, because the Dems are just as dirty. There's a bunch of corrupt corporate Dems in Washington, that'll talk a good game and then they turn around and do a bunch of shady shit when they don't think the public's paying attention. Cory Booker is one of them, you know? So,
but the other thing they got to stop doing, all the states do it, blue states, red states, they all do it, because they try to attract companies into their state because that brings unemployment down.
Tax-free.
And then they make them tax-free for like 20 years. That shit's got to stop, because our property taxes keep going up because these companies aren't paying taxes.
I was just talking to Stephanie about that. And I said the same thing about the data centers that I do about NFL teams. And NFL, National Football League, Lena, decides to come into a state and they want to build a stadium for their football games, which, mind you, is only during the fall through the early part of winter. That's it. A few months out of the year. The NFL, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, the owners are billionaires. They want a stadium. Do they pay for it? No. They pass that burden on to the taxpayers under the bullshit that, oh, we're creating jobs. That stadium isn't open 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, bringing in revenue. When it's not in service, when you're not playing football, you're renting it out.
Exactly. And what you're describing is yet another example of corporate welfare.
Yes. Yes.
They get the corporate welfare sucks this public money everywhere. This is not just in the US. We have the same thing.
Yeah.
We subsidize the coal industry, for fuck's sake, in Australia.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with the data centers. They're coming in, and who's picking up the tab? The taxpayers and the residents, not the company that's sucking all the water and all the electricity and blowing out the power grid. That burden is being passed off to the customers in the area. So if you want to play, then pay for all of it, you know, or at least give a whole ridiculous portion of your profits to the people that are currently footing your bill. So now they get to take home the profit without having to pay because everybody else is paying for it. Do you see what I'm saying?
And the companies that pay no corporate profit, Microsoft, Google, Apple, Sony, they're giants. They could pay 2% and we'd all be better off, you know. But
they should have to pay the same level we do.
There'd be money for all sorts of things.
You know, they're acting like 2% is going to leave them broke on the side of the street living under a bridge with a Band-Aid for underwear. You know, come on.
Yeah.
You know, anyways. So let me get to this other question. So that whole thing with the pilots.
The rescue.
I got questions. What's the latest on that story? Because all I had heard was that 2 pilots were downed, and then we went on a rescue mission. I never saw the freaking pilots.
Nor their families.
I didn't see them. I don't have cable television. All I see is stuff that's on TikTok or whatever, but I haven't seen them.
And he hasn't been named.
Yeah, there's a photo op. Here's the pilots we rescued. There's a major photo op, but no, it's like they don't exist.
People are speculating that the whole thing was to go in there and get the uranium. But anyways, so
we're asking if that was a true story or not?
Yeah.
That they rescued pilots.
And I hate that I have to do that, but I can't trust anything that comes out of this administration.
But this man has staged assassinations.
I know.
You know?
I know. And it makes us sound like the fucking crazy ones for saying, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And it cost other people their lives, but he's, he doesn't care if somebody dies while he's staging something.
I mean, he told how many lies his first term? Over 33,000 lies? Over 33,000? And I'm supposed to believe anything you get the hell out of here.
I'll say both can be true. there is someone here, 4 swords, that was down and out, if you will. Then the 2 of cups, there could be some sort of agreement to go, and 3 of wands. Visit such a person. However, there's the devil and the 10 of pentacles. This all could have been staged. And so there's something here to where big money was the target. This is corrupt. The devil is the devil. So I think both could be true. Somebody could have been there, 4 swords, and they could also have been specifically going in to take things. And that was their excuse.
I just want to go live in a world where I'm not being lied to. Is that
Good luck and God bless.
Is that
In the
too much
dream
to
world,
ask? Is that too much to ask?
Yes.
I think he's trying to show strength to America. Look, we're in control here. It wouldn't surprise me if these guys are prisoners. Going in there like he's done in the past. It's like a show that he's worked on, like a little pageant. It's not what it looks like. He wants to be the star. Look, it would not surprise me if they're not captured.
Yeah. And I've said this from the beginning, from the very first day of this. Everything will change as soon as there's an American hostage at stake because of all the 79 things. Deaths can even be absorbed within the culture, and horrendous as it is for individual families. They become war heroes. And hostages, this government could not negotiate.
Oh, God, no.
A hostage deal. So my cards are sort of similar in that sense. So the government here with the Hierophant, deep secrecy with the Hermit, Magician, how are we going to spin this? And we need to get out with what we get out with. And other things are left behind. It's a bit like the 7 of Swords here. The ruthlessness here. Yeah.
To your point, Lena, I'm going to hit the rewind button on the way back machine. Do you remember when Little Bush went to war with Iran and they captured that one guy from the army and they beheaded him with a Rambo knife?
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
I get energy, enemy, lie. If anything, that mission could have been to get the energy. There's the enemy and there's a lie. So that the pilots have been recovered, that's a lie. They're at the enemy. There. See? So I don't think they're back. The whole thing is a lie, and the mission was for energy. There. So So Bibi Netanyahu is shit in the bed. The polling here in America, despite all of AIPAC's efforts and Democrats and Republicans, and I'll say it again, Democrats and Republicans carrying water for It's Not Real to try to get Americans to support Netanyahu, there's a 73% disapproval from Americans on both the left and the right and independents of disapproving of Israel.
Yeah.
And it's spreading globally too to other countries as well. They're going, Israel is the aggressor. What the hell are we doing with these people? Because not only did they start that whole mess with Iran, while they're over there poking the bear and screwing up global supply chains and global energy, they turned around and started bombing the crap out of Lebanon for no reason. So,
and in Lebanon, over 1 million people have been displaced.
yeah.
1 million people.
And that man is committing war crimes left, right, and center. Why do you think Trump's doing what he's doing now? Because Netanyahu has been doing it for the past 2 years and nobody has lifted a finger against Netanyahu. You know?
And let's make a couple of connections here. Why do people immigrate? They immigrate either for economic opportunity or because of war, they're escaping, and survival. Right? So those are the motivations. And we, and I say we because we've been an ally till very recently and gone into all the wars for the US. We keep creating wars that then create displaced people who then have to claw and beg other countries so they can survive. And then the far right in every one of those countries goes, immigration is evil. And it's really important we take responsibility for creating the demand.
Yep.
The instability in other countries.
Yep.
Look, it's a rare little Jonnie Fortescue sighting.
And to your point, Lena, it's usually right-wing governments that are trigger happy to go to war.
Yeah.
To go to war.
It perpetuates itself.
It's cyclical. They start wars, they displace people, they end up with an immigration problem. It's anyways. So
but I think it's important for people to get that connection.
Oh yeah, and it is, you know. And another thing, the media doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
War. Let's talk about the consequences of what these world leaders are doing. You know? So next time you have a problem where your population is pissed off because you're getting this influx of immigrants, stop and ask, well, why are they here? Oh, it's because we bombed the shit out of their country and destabilized their entire government.
And your average Syrian would rather live in Syria than in Islington in London, or the average Somali would rather be in Somalia than in downtown Melbourne where I live. You know, they don't want to have to do this. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So can we look at Netanyahu? Because he's shitting the bed pretty fast. And he's pissing off a whole bunch of people everywhere. So what's going to happen to him?
Oh God!
Because he's just like Trump. The only reason he's clawing onto his position of power is because if he loses, if his coalition falls apart, he goes to jail. Just like Trump. Just like Trump.
And just like Putin, it's like, I think it's encouraging to see the people stand up in massive numbers in Hungary. Massive.
Yes.
And that's what has to happen.
So fabulous to see after 16 years. Wow. Not easy.
I think Netanyahu goes into hiding. If he's not there already. There is a significant threat against him personally. The Six of Pentacles would be that give and take. So somebody is pushing something his way. There's the Nine of Swords and Ten of Swords. It's on his doorstep type of thing. So it's way too close. By the time you get to the 8 and the 9, you're going in a very bad direction. And the Ten of Swords follows both of those. And so if you can't escape the bondage and you can't escape the anxiety, then comes the Ten of Swords. And so Ten of Swords is also my death card. So I use this one for actual death. And then there's the Four of Pentacles and Four of Cups. He's going to have to go to some place of seclusion because he's paranoid, which he should be. Now, whether he survives that whole ordeal, that's a whole nother thing, but it's coming, I think.
I would be too. If I had done as horrible shit as he has, I'd be sleeping with one eye open.
Too.
Looking at his options, but I think he'll end up going to Russia.
Funny you should
yeah.
say that.
Everybody's feeling betrayed by his messaging and everything. So
Yeah, well, funny you should mention Russia, because the Empress card has morphed over the years into
Mother Russia.
the Russian card for some reason. Isn't that weird? That was the first card that came out. It's the first thing that flew into his mind. Now, I don't think he's that bosom buddies with Putin per se, man on man sort of thing. Dictators pretend to like each other. That's why Trump's a child. He's dazzled by their power, but they actually don't like each other because they don't want another silverback in the room, right? They
You don't want competition.
So I'm thinking he might have been technically offered asylum in Russia should he need it at a moment's notice, but it would be a temporary sort of message. But that's sort of turned up, which is interesting. He's realizing, he's coming to the end of the chain now, because as I understand it, and I read Israeli news every day, you have to keep across everyone else's point of view. I do my best. People thought this war would be very, very quick. They didn't think a month later they'd be in bomb shelters every day. It isn't going well, in this. Now, here we are, Netanyahu. Now, with the death card, you've all heard us say hundreds of times, not literally death. However, you'd have to think sometimes maybe. So I'm not putting soil on the casket. I am just saying, isn't it interesting that came up near the sword of justice? And it's like, I think if he was arrested, and I don't think that's around the corner, but if he was arrested or voted out or whatever, I think he might have an option like Hitler used.
Like who? Like who, Lena?
How Hitler exited.
Oh.
I'm just saying, entertainment purposes only. If the law comes after him and he's looking at 6 years jail or something, I don't think he's going to do it.
6 years would be generous.
Mm.
That man
what
belongs.
It would really take is 20 minutes, because if he were to be arrested, imagine who he would be turned over to, and imagine what they would probably do in return. Something like that, he would probably be too afraid to face.
Exactly, Jonnie. I mean, Israel is currently getting plummeted, and he fled the country. He started a war. Yeah. He started several wars, poking the bear, and then took off and left his citizens to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. Mm. Did you go, Jennie?
Yeah.
So I did a box spread. I'm thinking this is his wife because of the proximity. Him and his wife are suffering, but they're not there. They're gone. See? He's far from where he should be. There's something here where this is achieving something, your goal, but then he took off. So that tells me he took off from the country. He's somewhere else. It's almost like this right here it's almost like this whole thing is a religious crusade. Don't ask me why, but it looks like a religious crusade. It's also talking about a lot of ambulances and health sort of stuff. Here's the conflict. Him fighting, suffering and fighting and pain.
What's on that bottom row, Becca? It's cutting off. Oh, there you go.
There's him starting conflicts, man and whip. He's the aggressor, the abuser, the one that's starting all this shit, stirring the pot. Significant conflict here, and then eventually peace. But I don't see peace for a while. Because if you look at the corners, and then this night in here, it's almost like towards the end of the year around Christmas, maybe, because of these two, cross and tree.
See, Christmas tree, yeah.
Yeah, Christmas tree. So there's achievement or the goal. something solid, peace, tranquility, and answers here. So he's not going to budge at all. It looks like there's going to have to be some sort of intervention from some sort of a council or someone wiser here, but it doesn't look like things calm down till maybe around the winter Christmas time, because this is winter, this is Christmas.
Yeah, isn't it funny? All these guys now are under threat in a way they weren't a year ago, 5 years ago. They're all on borrowed time.
Yeah. And then this right here, persistent conflict, a lifestyle of conflict, growing conflict this way, moving towards peace. But this card right here is not anytime soon. This takes a long time. This is the winter or a long time. That's why I was saying maybe around Christmas time or something. But that conflict's still going to be ongoing, and he will still be the aggressor. He's got a trip or something far away on his mind. So to Lena and Jonnie's point, and then this way here, achieving tranquility and peace. He probably does have, like Lena was saying, somewhere where he's been offered asylum, or he can try to get asylum. It's looking. I don't get Russia.
Yeah, I don't think he'd stay in Russia. I didn't get that vibe at all, but it could be his exit route, you know.
It's looking like it's one of, and I hate to say this, because this guy hates Muslims. He hates Muslims. You know, any Arab person, he hates him. But this right here, with this, it's an Abrahamic religion, but it's royalty of some way, shape, or form. So, I mean, he's already pissed off Qatar and Saudi Arabia, all those UAE countries, you know. So, but this is, it's not Israel. It's looking more like there's royalty here. Or where power, it goes through a lineage. It's inherited. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, which would be ironic considering that he hates all Muslims. And that's why he's doing the Greater Israel Project, you know, but this way here, asylum, running away. What's that?
Well, I'm just saying something I don't think anyone saw coming was Iran attacking the UAE countries. Right. And that was a huge difference in approach. They know they can't take on the US head on, but military installations in the UAE. Now, they've bribed him with planes and lumps of gold and everything for years swimming. And as they see it now, what I'm hearing in the Middle Eastern press is they feel let down by the US. They're as angry at the US as they are at Iran, because you were supposed to protect us. That's why we bribed you all these years. Didn't you get the memo? You know,
all the billions of dollars they gave to Jared Kushner alone.
All of that.
And then for him to turn around and say, sorry, we can't protect you. We're too busy protecting Israel because they have all the dirt on me of how I raped 8 and 9-year-old girls.
How they see it.
So, anyways, these people. Can we just ask? Kamala Harris came out, did an interview, said she's thinking about running again in 2028. It's been a mixed bag with how people have taken that. There's the camp that is damn right, you won in 24.
Yeah.
And then there's the camp that's don't do it again. Don't do another Hillary Clinton, you know?
Don't do it again.
So will she run in 28?
Okay. Kamala.
I hope she does, because I think she won in 24. All these naysayers, sit down and shut up.
If she does, she will not have the same kind of support.
Mm.
The big thing that made her the perfect candidate, not the only thing, but the big thing, is that she was running against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's not there anymore. And so, just like Jasmine Crockett said, they came to her and told her that we have to find a safe white guy to run for president. That's what they wanted, because that's what they think will win, and blah, 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 blah. So there's the lover's card, and then there's the death. The support has changed. It has changed a lot because the devil and the emperor is not there anymore. And you have to also keep in mind her side. Democrats were not all on board in the beginning either. They just had to go with her because Joe Biden was president, and then all of that campaign money went to him and then went to her. And so if you don't select her, then you have to start all the way over. And so everybody and their grandmother got behind Kamala Harris. Remember, white guys for Harris and Mormons for Harris and pets for Harris.
That's right. Yeah.
Everybody was for Harris because we knew what we were facing. But in the end, there's the Queen of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. So I just don't think that the same support is there. But go for it. I'll vote for you again.
I would too. I'll tell you what I don't want. I sure as hell don't want a Gavin Newsom. And I say that as a California resident, he is my governor.
Yeah, you're entitled to that too.
We don't need another billionaire.
Be careful with that Gavin Newsom. Just like you all were, I told you all to be careful with what's his face in New York. So, anyways, go ahead.
This was not an easy decision for her. This is Dark Night of the Soul. This is really, you're really dealing with an issue when you're trying to decide, am I going to, because she knows she had success in the past. But, she will illuminate a lot of what has gone on. And, she better get ready because Republicans will go on the attack on her. I think she could actually win it. She can bring change here. In 2 years, I think she gets the job, gets the offer, so to speak. And she can bring healing and bully back, bring back things that have been torn apart.
Yeah, well, I'll whip through the cards here. This is all about movement. We've got the Chariot, we've got the Eight of Wands. There's the movement now of this conversation. But here's the burden, because she's been to this rodeo before. Now, the Fool. My personal views I'll spit out first and then talk about this. You can decide yourselves in the chat what you think about this. I would love to see Kamala Harris as the AG. That would be, if I could have a magic wand as an Australian on the other side of the world, I'd love to, because I really think they need, the Dems, someone new. So it's like Gavin Newsom and Kamala. If you think about that's high quality of the primaries, and that's what we want. We want someone like Gavin Newsom has a role, I think, to set the bar, someone who can punch back to the Republicans, and someone else to come in. I think the Dems need to get the youth vote, because it's really, really essential. So this could be one of two things. It could be that when it comes to the primary, she doesn't actually get that nomination, or that she does get the nomination and we see a new Kamala. Mm-hmm. And that new Kamala has to reflect what she was saying when she was distressed and exhausted and brokenhearted after having it stolen. She said, it's broken. She said that, those words, the system is broken.
Yep.
So and never a truer word was spoken. So what I'm saying is there's no point of Kamala coming back and just going, oh, look, things will just be better and, we'll be kind. It has to be a new Kamala who I think is that bit older, a bit wiser, a bit more, because she's been through the mincer. So everyone can decide what they think that is about.
I vote for Letitia James for AG because she has successfully prosecuted Trump.
Absolutely.
She knows how to go after him.
Fabulousness.
I would have said
Kamala,
Fannie Willis until
but-
she got into some problems and got pulled off the case. But Letitia James, I would go for her as AG.
I would put Miss Letitia James as a justice and put Kamala Harris as AG, because one thing Kamala Harris has experience with is prosecuting rapists.
Yes.
Okay. So every single one of these motherfuckers that they're working double, triple overtime on our taxpayer dime to keep the public from finding out who the hell they were and how many young women they raped and killed and did God knows what to them. Those people need to be behind bars, regardless of how many zeros are in their bank account. Period.
Absolutely. So there's many legal roles for these women, and also Kamala would be a perfect Secretary of State, which we've forgotten about because it's just been a lackey for the last.
Been a floppy shoe boy, right, Jonnie?
A seriously important position with the world, and America has a lot of redeeming to do with the world. So any of those women would be good as presidential candidates, as AGs, as Secretary of State.
I get that there's a man that has caused a great deal of problems and a lot of suffering. I'm thinking this is Biden and not Trump. So I think her role as VP to Biden causes her problems. Even though those idiots that said never Kamala because you supported the genocide, where are they now? Where are they? Because the genocide's still going. And instead of going to Trump to yell at him, they're going to her.
Yes.
Like, what do you want her to do? What do you want her to do? She's not in government. Whatever. Anyways, so moving on. Let me see what other question I got here. Give me 1 second. So Melania, the hoochie.
Bless her heart.
I do not know Jeffrey Epstein.
When I knew him, he was called Boris.
I'm like, and I'm sitting there going, girl, we all know that you were getting passed around like a joint at a frat party. Okay, like everybody knows. Everybody knows.
Sweet don't tell me you didn't know him. Orgy Lane.
That girl was, like I said, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. That girl was getting passed around like a joint at a frat party. Period. She knew Jeffrey Epstein, his butler, the guy that bought his clothes, the driver, the shoemaker, the pilot, the person that drove. She knew everybody because she was the party favor. Okay?
Yeah.
So she came out and did that whole press conference. Well, shit's getting weird. So apparently there's a lady by the name of Amanda Angora whose husband is buddies with Trump and is in the administration some way, shape, or form. Well, he had Trump deport his fucking wife, Amanda, back to Brazil.
Not his wife, girlfriend that fathered or mothered his child.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not his wife. They never
his
married.
Baby mama. The baby mama. He had the baby mama deported back to Brazil. And homegirl came out, and I guess, like Jonnie said, a fully depreciated woman. Homegirl came out, and I guess she's done an interview with a television news station. I don't know if it's here in America or in Brazil or what, but allegedly it's going to be a tell-all. So that's why supposedly, that's why that skank first prostitute of the United States, Melania had to go do that press conference. Yeah.
Trying to get ahead of the story.
What's that, Jonnie?
She's trying to get ahead of the story.
Yeah. They're saying there you go. They're saying that it's scheduled on CNN Brazil. CNN Brazil.
There's so many pictures of Melania and Epstein smooching on each other and hugging and everything. It's yeah, sure, you didn't know him.
Yeah.
And Michael Wolff's got all of them.
Yep. And also to Lena's point, she's currently involved in a lawsuit with Michael Wolff because she tried to sue him to get him to shut his mouth, and he's like, "Game on, bitch! Bring the receipts. I'll see you in court."
Yes.
You know. So. Yeah.
She'll end up paying him money, which will be totally delicious.
I mean, Lena, I don't understand. Here I am. I work hard. I pay my taxes. I try to be a good person. I return my shopping cart to the designated area instead of being an asshole and leaving it in some random spot in the parking lot. And then this hoe that's done nothing but get implants and Botox in her face is living high on the pie and taking all of our money on top of it. You know, like I wish I was a bad person. Sometimes I do, because all my problems would be solved.
I know. And MAGA never admits that he's had 2 immigrant wives. They never go there.
So she said, I met Donald randomly by chance at a party, and it's like, bitch, you met Marla Maples' husband by chance.
Yes.
Clear that up, okay? Let's clear that up. You home wrecking slut. You know, like. I mean, I don't mean to sound like a horrible person, but it's the truth. She met him when he was married to Marla Maples. You know? That's right. So, and then she's over there trying to make it look like she's the Virgin Mary. Get the hell out of here. So, anyways. So, is that like, are we going to see the interview here in America? Can we ask that?
All right.
By the way, I saw a great meme that said, Tiger Woods for Trump's chauffeur.
Love it.
The beast, is that what they call the presidential vehicle?
Because if Barry won't get him, Tiger Woods will.
Tiger Woods would.
Oh, good heavens. Lord, please.
Oh my God.
That was the best meme ever.
His swim instructor. Yes. Change in illumination. Death in the sun.
I mean, this bitch acting like we don't have the internet and we can't see her naked pictures all over the place.
Exactly. That's what my cards are saying. Are you crazy? You just have to go online.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I'll just jump in here. Here's the moon. And not wanting that to happen. Well, yes, of course they don't. But Queen of Swords, you know, we're still suckers in a way for celebrity gossip, for want of a better word, as a world. And I think they've forgotten exactly that there is an internet. I'm sure I could pull it up in 20 seconds.
Oh.
She's got some evidence too. I get this is going to grow. It's not only yes, we're going to see it. A lot of truths coming out. She's going to show that they were all friends. Here's little Melania. She's going to bully Melania quite a bit. And she's going to get a lot of attention. But she's got some evidence from way back with the underage group.
Oh yes.
So this can change like the whole investigation a little bit. She's got photos or something.
Wouldn't that be some shit if Melania Trump ends up in jail for her contribution to the Epstein
Like Ghislaine, she probably
Yeah.
recruited some young women.
Well, I mean, that girl Amanda said that she was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane at what, 17 years old or something. So she was trafficked by Epstein, you know? So yes, we are, and it's going to be scandalous. There's the network, the society, all the people in that huge network of bastards, the lies, the deceits, the betrayals, and all of it comes out. All of it. All of it. And this is also a woman scorned, queen of clubs. So, and in that tweet, she said, I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. I have all the receipts. And I'll take you and your husband down if it's the last thing I do. And it's like, girl, please. Girl, please.
Absolutely.
Makes me want to get cable news again just so I can have something to laugh at, you know? So let's see here. What else do we have? Let me see. Okay, so we got to the press conference. So yeah, JD Vance went over there. Viktor Orban tried to prop him up. That went down like a lead balloon. It was glorious.
Yeah.
So I guess Trump is pissed off at Vance now that he wasn't able to get people in Hungary to support Viktor Orban. So can we look at that?
I just want to do another shout out again for the voters of Hungary. They've had all these years of repression. It wasn't easy. It wasn't like, oh, I'll go and vote for the other guy this year. No, you know, people were under enormous pressure and threats, and
they've been about too big to rig, you know, because they've had rigged elections like Russia for, you know, years.
And not just rigged and gerrymandered and all the other dirty tricks, but also with the interest of these giant tech oligarchs whose interest it was to have all these hard right governments across the board. We've seen it all over.
Absolutely.
The Facebook guy, Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all of these tech giants really mess with algorithms and push false information and false narratives online and in social media spaces because it's in their interest to have that sort of government, not for the people's interest, for their own. So can we look at the dynamic right now between Vance and Trump, because Trump is over there crashing out that he can't get a deal with Iran. JD's over there trying to prop up his buddy, and that went by just terribly, you know. So,
and there was another thing about Vance and that recent visit to Orban. Vance was saying, because he'd been primed to say, oh yes, they're really worried that the election's going to be stolen. Right now, this is the same playbook, and it undermines people's trust in democracy. That's why they do it.
Yeah.
But they tried it again now, and it didn't work. And it has to. Every election now has to be too big to fail and to be messed with. So that was Vance's actual speech.
Yep. They said, we saw what you guys did over there in your country. We're not letting you do that here. So
yep. Go
less
Hungary.
than 2 years, and they've already they have us like limping all over the place, you know.
Sorry, what was that question?
What is the dynamic between Trump and Vance right now?
And the smoky-eyed sociopath, as Jennie Wells calls him. I love that.
Little smoky eye, like Jennifer on I Hip. Little smoky.
She has the best.
I don't know what he expected from him. Who informed Donald Trump that JD Vance was an expert negotiator?
Jonnie, we're talking about the guy who thinks he's an expert negotiator.
Maybe he
That's
should have
right.
put his fat behind over there and negotiated then.
This guy couldn't even hold up a trophy without breaking it. Why could he negotiate?
Oh my God, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. And then he kissed that one guy, and then the guy died. Was it the
Yeah.
Pope?
The
before?
Pope Francis.
Oh my God. See, like, what made you think this was a good idea? The guy is literally the kiss of death.
Oh.
So how
Well, I
does he
think-
feel about Vance right now?
I think Vance is a confused man in many ways. You know, when you see his trajectory from saying Trump was Hitler and all those things to where he is today, you know, these guys sell out on live TV, you know, they have no shame. But he's actually, we sort of breeze over this card often, you know, illusion, delusion. But I think he's genuinely now confused. Now it's getting closer because Trump is not going to be with us forever, regardless of what's happening, right?
TikTok
Now
Barry.
I think it was fun before when Peter Thiel was paying your bills and you got nice suits and you can get the big chair and you just have to hang in. He's a bit crazy. I think he's much more freaked out now by what he has to say and do going forward. He actually doesn't know. Now, this is interesting. 10 of Pentacles, you know, legacies, inheritance, whoever gets the legacy of the Yetis era, you know, is an absolute nightmare and a burden. But I think there's a twist. I think Trump finds JD a threat and a burden. And JD finds the same way. They've got nothing in common. Trump doesn't like him because he's younger and he's just out there and, you know, whatever. Oh, I didn't see that coming. So I think it's mutual hostility and distrust.
I think you're right, Lena. I think Trump's trying to declare power over him and turning his back on JD. And I think, you know, if he could fire him and get away with it, he would. You know, like he's done these women. He would be like, I'm the one in control. I'm the one that's powerful. And then I think on JD's side, he's partnering with people to try and figure out how to get Trump to go, the emotional one, and move him on. So I think they're both scheming behind each other's backs.
Yeah, totally.
Plot twist.
Yeah.
I mean, JD, if anything, do it for the plot, dude. Do it for the plot. Keep us all in suspense. Okay. What'd you get, Jonnie?
I don't know what he expected is all.
Yeah.
The Hangman and the Six of Swords, his perspective change, and then he's going to move on to someone else. But what did you want? I mean, you asking Stevie Wonder to cut your hair. This is not his skill set. It's like, what are you looking for? You sent JD Vance to world peace negotiations and the campaign for some guy? He couldn't win you an election.
I mean, JD doesn't like JD. Okay.
Yes, I think that's what I was fishing for. This is the problem. He's a hollow man.
He's
And so
reinventing
he's always been a
himself.
chameleon, and now he's running out of outfits.
Yeah.
He's running out of names too. How many times has he changed his name?
Running out of outfits.
Changed his name 3 times. Used to be a cross-dresser. Went to gay conversion camp. Like, wrote a book that was all supposed to be a biography or an autobiography. Who knows? But it was all fiction. None of it was true. Like, this guy has no concept of who he is.
No.
He can't even remember he converted to Catholicism while he's bashing Pope Leo.
He wants to go and spit at the Pope as a Catholic.
You know what?
Converted or
I
otherwise.
say do it. I say walk your ass into the Vatican like this and catch on fire, bitch. Like, I want him gone just as much
And
as
the
I want. And
Swiss
take Trump
guards.
with you.
The Swiss guards who protect the Pope, I love this. Now, they're ceremonial. You know, they haven't lifted a gun in anger for 400 years or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. But how amazing would that be? JD going to the
I hope he wears his floppy shoes and click-clacks across the marble floors.
So I get that he's shit-talking him to anybody within hearing distance. That Trump is shit-talking Vance. Because there's the shit-talking right there. Lying. And I also get that he may have coached him and told him what to say. Because this is lies and talking when you go to deliver the news. Oh, just tell him this and this, and like coaching him, like do what I do, like, you know, and then it didn't go anywhere. It just like water through his hands, you know. So mutually, they despise each other. They talk shit about each other.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he did what he told him to do, then he probably went there to talk world peace and start talking about the Dow Jones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, anyways, moving on.
Can I suggest a question? Because I don't want to do this on my own. I'd like to do it in the group.
Yeah.
90 million Americans couldn't be asked voting. Right?
Pardon? Can you repeat that again?
Australian expression. Yeah. 90 million people failed to find it important enough to actually vote. Yep. Now, my personal theory is MAGA's not going to turn up in big numbers in this next one. That may or may not happen. But I'm interested in the 90 million. And a poll I saw just last night said 45% of registered voters are independent now.
Uh-huh.
Can't see a difference between the two. Okay, so can we ask that? Will a significant number of the 90 million get off their sorry asses and vote this time? Or, nah, it's not my problem. No, they're all the same.
Listen.
Will there be a shift in that?
You might not want to do politics, but I can guarantee you politics will always do you.
Do you? That's right. Because it's a really big issue.
Yeah,
you
know, an issue, but at the same time, the numbers don't always jive since Trump's been running. Like, what was it? Biden had over 70 million and Trump was over 53 million. Like, the numbers don't add up. It's like, we've never had that many people turn out to vote.
Here's the thing to what Lena was saying and to what Jennie is saying. We don't have 100% participation in our elections. And never have.
Shocking. No,
we never have.
Shocking.
But here's also another thing. You have to remember that there is one party in particular who has made it their mission to disenfranchise voters in every single way possible.
Yeah. And they're feeling it now. It doesn't matter where they live.
Yep.
What their job is, the job they've lost. Everyone is feeling
it. I get Justice, Five of Wands, Queen of Wands, Judgment, and the Devil. Yes and no. The Justice, there is some balancing because people are aware now. You also have to get people to care. You know, I've said this before 100 times that if you were poor under Bush and you were poor under Clinton and you were poor under the other Bush and you were poor under Obama and you were poor under Trump and you were poor under Biden and you're still poor under Trump, then you probably don't care about politics at all. Because nothing in your life changes no matter who's in there. Even though you're just looking at that one thing. Meanwhile, your environment and your taxes and your everything does change. Everything does affect you, especially when they're trying to take away your voter rights and take away your every other kind of right and so forth. But there are some who just are kind of stuck in a loop of laziness too. They don't want to participate. They don't want to go. They don't want to stand in line. They don't want to just say that there's tennis shoes and iPhones at the end of the line, and they would probably go. But for voting, it's not a thing that they care about. but I think we will see an increase in numbers, just not in. I want to see it, like you to your point earlier, Lena. I want to see an increase in youth vote, especially those who are 18 who cannot wait to do this because they see what their world is turning into. And so, but there is some fire being lit under some people. This is just not youth, but there is some people, especially women, that the fire will be lit under. So I kind of get a yes on that.
And I think a lot of it, to Jonnie's point, has to do with the candidate. And not just the candidate, but the track record of the candidate. Because I'm old enough to remember when Bernie Sanders ran in 2016. People that were a few months away from turning 18 years old was going to be their first time ever voting, turning up at every single Trump rally. And here you had a 70-something-year-old man. And the reason people trusted him is because you look at every single video, every word out of that man's mouth, he has been consistent. He has not wavered, period. You know, and the voter registration and the voter turnout and all that stuff, everybody was behind him. So I think if you get a good quality candidate that has a good message, that you can look at their track record and say, this person is not playing sides, telling me one thing to get in there, and then they get in there and then they don't do shit.
Yeah.
I think that would be a big difference, you know?
Yep.
There are a lot of people shifting and how they vote and the work that's put behind voting, the mechanisms, state by state that we do. So I get it. It'll be bad news for Republicans because there's going to be a lot of women working on this election. So I think the women are going to sway a lot of the votes. And these party boys with the young people and all this nefariousness, it's got to go. It's got to go. There is a challenge because there is a lot of corruption. There's a lot of kind of breaking down and stopping and blocking people from voting, turning people away, the usual crap they do. But I do get it will grow as long as people are persistent, in getting registered, making sure they're still registered is going to be a big thing because they're purging voting rolls again. They want to bully Trump out of the White House, so and his regime. So I think, yes, it will continue to grow, but I think there's discrepancies in how many people have been turning out.
And to the person in the chat, I'm sorry I didn't get your name, that you were saying this is not a time for a purity test, vote blue no matter who down the ticket. Well, be very careful with that and vet your candidates. Kyle Kalinske just did a huge segment on his show. You can look it up on YouTube. Republicans in Texas are shitting their pants right now that they think that they're going to lose control in the Senate at the federal level and in the state as well. So you know what they're doing? They're having MAGA Republicans running as Democrats to fool the voters. And it's not the first time we've seen Republicans play that trick. We've seen it with what's his face, the guy that had the stroke.
Fetterman.
We've seen it happen.
But there was Cinema.
Yep. Cinema.
And Manchin, Joe Manchin.
And Joe Manchin. So be very careful. Kyle Kalinske was reporting that they are currently strategizing to run Republicans as Democrats to fool the voters. And then when they get in, they'll switch. So I understand what you're saying, but be mindful and vet your candidates across the board. Dot your I's and cross your T's, because the last thing we need is another situation with Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema or John Fetterman getting into office. Okay. Yeah. So and then once they're in the Senate, you can't recall them. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. It's true. So everyone has to be really vigilant about it. And so with my cards with this question, the 90 million, I don't think any of us think for 1 second it's going to be 90 million. But even a third of that would be significant. people are starting to think, looking at the world here, starting to think. The problem is they've often, this is the Republican Party has held them back literally in chains because of the culture wars. They can't think around that to how they're getting screwed over and impacted. They just get sucked in and chained in to the Republicans. And I think they're starting to wake up and want to make a point. This, to me, would be youth vote. Also, I think working Americans who have been, since the Reagan years, manufacturing's been destroyed, all big industries have broken the back of the working class over and over and over. But you know what? Maybe there's a bit of a change of heart as they lose everything. Yep. I don't think it's going to be the rising up of the working class, but enough to make a difference. So if those different groups, the youth group, the truckers who have lost their jobs even though they voted for him for 3 times, all of those, if all the little splinters add up, it could just help.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I get a no.
Oh, you're probably right.
This is your visitor. This is your alternate and choices. So this would be your vote, and then it gets cut off here. I don't think so. I think there's a vast portion that is just resignated, to Johnny's point. My life didn't get better under XYZ, so why the hell is it going to, you know what I mean? Why am I going to take time off of work? Because Lena, voting here in America is not a holiday. You got to take time off work to, and
they kept moving, like what polling place they were supposed to go to.
It's outrageous. You guys have an outrageous system.
I told you, like, besides the populace that is just resigned, to Johnny's point, that it doesn't matter who's in there, my life isn't going to change. So why bother? Why am I going to inconvenience myself to take time off of work or take time away from my kids to go over here so that this place is closed? Now I got to go over there and stand in line for 12 hours to try to get my vote in. Why am I going to put in all that work when my life is not going to change? On top of, like I said earlier, there was one party in particular that is working overtime to disenfranchise voters, to keep people away from the polls. Now we're looking at ICE is going to be there to intimidate voters, so it's shit like that. So
but here's the thing. It's really essential that Dems start to, using different communication methods. Look how we, the world, are all looking at, and I don't think the Ayatollahs are making the Lego propaganda, right? But they're smart enough to know this is how you engage the world. Look at that. So this, exactly what you're saying, Becca, I totally get it. But it has to be a reinvention of message that's fresh and compelling, that this time, at least, you're not going to get them all.
And not just fresh and compelling, but like I said, Lena, you have to introduce candidates that regular working class Americans and middle class people and the poor trust, because you know what? Their record is unshakable. You can't parade somebody out there like Hakeem Jeffries or Cory Booker that are going to tell you one thing, and then when they think you're not looking, they're going to go and do the exact opposite.
And that's the calculation that the Dems have to make. They can go with business as usual, or a complete new face, new visionary. I mean, at the time, I hate to say it, but another Kennedy. He was what? How old was Kennedy when he got elected?
He was young. He was like in his late 30s, early 40s.
I don't think even that old. Can someone find out how
old? He was like our
Kennedy?
Youngest president, wasn't he? He was like 36, 37.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. How old was Kennedy?
He was young.
Very young.
32.
But
no,
those who are disengaged are disengaged. So unless you can go out with something to actually go to them and wake up a percentage of them, there's no chance they'll vote.
So, and I'll say it again, in this country, we do not usually allow senior citizens to work because their cognitive functions are slower. And I'm not saying this to be ageist, it's just true. So why the fuck are we letting them run the goddamn country? You're 80-something years old. Go home, you know? But anyways,
yeah,
I got two more
Chuck
questions.
Schumer should resign on age too. You know, you've got your public legacy, whatever that is to you. Move over for the young ones. God.
So I got two more questions.
Okay.
One of them, mandatory draft for the war that was going to end 2 weeks ago, but might finish in 2 weeks. That we're not at a war, but and we have it all under control, but we're going to mandatorily enlist people for the draft. Make sense. And then, which to your point, Lena, if we can automatically enroll people to be drafted to a war that was not congressionally approved, you can automatically register citizens in this country to vote.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's one question. And then the other question just slipped my mind. Anyways, can we start with the draft?
So will it stay or will it go?
He's trying to push it right now.
Right, but it's not law yet.
Isn't that interesting? A 5-time draft dodger. 5 times. Is
The irony
is going to mandatorily
send
everybody else's kids.
But let's hope. Even talking about it upsets parents.
Why do you need more soldiers? Just stop bombing people.
Yeah.
Don't deal with the symptoms, deal with the illness.
Totally.
Temperance, no draft. Emperor and 5 of Wands, he wants to, sure, because of his conflict that he started, but no. Not to mention, can you imagine what this is going to look like? Are you trying to drag people out of their home to go fight in a war that you started?
Well, are you going to drag them out of the homes, or are you going to drag them out of the ICE detention camps where you probably fucking sent them?
Yeah. And now they're talking about sending people to the Congo.
Oh,
I mean, this is just diabolical.
Listen,
Stuff. It's just to freak people out. It's designed to freak people out.
Nobody wants this.
To get him. I know I want Barry to get him, but can we just keep him alive long enough to skin him alive? Because he's evil incarnate. He makes the devil look like, you know,
a Sunday school teacher.
Yeah.
Nobody wants this, and a lot of people will think, he's delusional here. So his plans, to bring in support for this and bring the money in for the war and everything, so he can profit off of it, and his kids can profit off it. Nobody wants to die for him. No, this will not. It'll get blocked.
Nobody wants to die for him. Nobody wants to die for Israel. Let's just keep it real.
I'm reminded of the lyrics of a Peter Tosh song from back in the 70s, Equal Rights, Jamaican. And one of the lyrics is, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what's happening here. Look, here's the trumpet. This isn't him getting a change of perspective. I think this is people, like young people who would suddenly be eligible, saying, oh, I thought he was okay. I voted for him. What do you mean? Like that sort of change of perspective. It'll maybe get as far as court and all that, but I think this is a victory for the people in the end. It's almost necessary to freak people out. I think this is a thing. People have to sometimes be shocked into thinking and acting and having an opinion. They can let all this go, and sometimes you've just got to.
Here's an idea. You have all those January 6ers insurrectionists that you pardoned. working for ICE right now, along with all the other white supremacist groups. Send them, and send every MAGA cosplayer that spends their weekend 300 pounds overweight, jumping and doing all this stuff, thinking that they're ready to go to war. Send them. Send MAGA. Send MAGA. You want to go kill brown people? Here you go. Here's your chance. Go.
Yeah, send MAGA.
We'll see you when you come back in a body bag, you know? I get that it's a large group of men. A lot of them. But it's going to, I don't see it happening. I don't see the mandatory draft happening, but it's a group, a large network of men that are going to be like, WTF. You know, I didn't sign up for this. So my last question. Iran has been putting out all those videos, the Lego videos of making fun of Trump and all that other stuff, and Netanyahu and everything. And I understand Iran has propaganda as well. Okay, I'm not saying that they're angels and they're not doing anything wrong. And mind you, Iran had a perfectly functioning government until, what was it, the late 50s, early 60s, Lena? When we
1953.
Yeah, we went over there and overturned their entire government because we wanted a dictator that we could control. So we did that. America, not Iran. We did that, okay? So Iran has been posting some very questionable stuff. Accusations that Princess Diana was killed by Israel because she knew what was going on with the Epstein stuff. And what else did they say? There was one saying that Israel killed Diana because of Epstein. Israel had JFK assassinated because JFK did not want to prop up Israel and give them a whole bunch of arms. And there was another one that they said Israel was behind. It's slipping my mind right now. And when I saw it, I took it with a grain of salt because you have to understand how propaganda works. And they're trying to turn the tide against Israel, which you don't need to. Israel's doing all of that well on their own. But is there any truth? For entertainment purposes only, this is conspiracy theory territory here.
You could get me to believe that they had something to do with Epstein, because that's what comes up in my cards.
JFK or Princess Diana? Because they're claiming that.
No, Israel.
Oh, absolutely. That's all over the fucking Epstein files, and everybody's not even addressing that elephant in the room.
That's all that comes up for me.
Yeah, I'm a bit in the same camp. The Epstein stuff, you can sort of see the dots being connected, but I think it's a reach too far for Diana and the other one. I think Israel will have to do its own soul searching in time, along with the rest of the world, about what it's actually doing in Gaza and in Lebanon. I don't think we need to, multiply the conspiracy theories. This is what we can actually see. So I got the Magician, Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords. So they're not conspiratorial cards to me. Managing information, yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I get that's just image posturing a little bit. What I do get they've done, they have insider spies with Russia. So there is some involvement there for whatever reason. I mean, we got people involved with Russia too, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's walls. Yeah, yeah.
They're involved with Republicans. Got agreements, handshake deals with Republicans. They bought off some powerful people like Trump. But I think that's a no on Princess Diana. They got their spies, they got their network, and Epstein was one of those, certainly.
Oh, and one of the most amazing spy networks in the world in terms of efficiency.
Yeah.
So I think there's plenty of dabbling going on without going JFK and Princess Diana.
I do not get that there's truth to the conspiracy. However, it's being used to narrate a story, which is their propaganda. They're blaming everything on Israel, but they're using something that's already out in the public. There's growth, health, a child, and a woman. Growing young girls. Do you see what I'm saying? The youth, little girls that were kept secret and were sold. This is the card of abundance, prosperity, shopping, what do you call it? Consulting. And they were being kept secret, everything here, but they know about it. Do you see what I'm saying? So is it true that Israel is behind the assassination of JFK? No. Is it true that they were behind the death of Princess Diana? No. But they're using the story of the young girls that were kept secret and were being sold. And this is an action card. This shows movement. So being transferred and all over the trafficking. So they're just using that. But you know what? And it's a good thing, because ever since Trump started the war, how much have we heard about the Epstein files? That fell to the background. Do you see what I'm saying? Now everybody's talking about the price of gas and fertilizer running out, and everybody's shut up about the Epstein files, and they're bringing it back up. Do you see what I'm saying? So, if anything, Trump is for as stupid as he is, he's a master at manipulating the media, and the media falls for it every single time. Every single time. So that's all I got.
Well, I'd just like to say from one of the comments here, go Barry, go.
I mean, seriously, dude. Barry or get, what was his name? Tiger Woods to be his driver. I mean, come on.
To be his driver.
I want off this ride. I'm tired, man. I'm tired.
All right, I've got to go, guys. But it was
Love you,
great
Lena.
having a catch up.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Good to see you.
Fun. See you again sometime.
Bye.
Anytime.
Ciao.
And that's all we got tonight, folks. Thank you, everybody who super chatted. Thanks for hanging out. Next week we'll be on Jonnie's channel. I'm trying to point. That man right there. We'll be on his channel next week. And tomorrow is Jennie's birthday. We'll see if she comes on.
Weather permitting and power permitting. We're getting storms tomorrow night and Tuesday night. Y'all be careful. There's a huge storm system coming up from Texas, going all through the Midwest. So be careful out there tomorrow and Tuesday.
Stay safe, everybody. Get your voodoo dolls out. Do what you got to do. It makes you feel better.
Go, Barry.
Go, Barry, go.
Go.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining and super chatting and everything. Have a good one.